All righty. Well, hello, hello. Welcome to our Thursday morning call, or afternoon now, depending on what neck of the woods you're in. But this is our Thursday morning mastermind call. Who do we have on the line? All righty. We're excited. It's right at the top of the hour. And you know what I love to say is, did you learn something new? You want to make sure you always learn something new. And that's so, even today, this morning, I learned some new things. And that's what's really great about it. The more you learn, the more you earn. That is not something it's been proven to be true. But Rick, I'm driving, so
Yeah,
I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you.
okay, thank you. You talk about learning something new, and I want to thank you for teaching me something new that I was able to learn the other day. And it's funny because you actually told me about it, but I didn't hear you. Oops, I didn't hear you until a couple of days ago. And that was the whole thing about 369. And a lot of people don't realize that we use a lot of affirmations to get what we want. I mean, they see the result, but they don't understand that we're actually affirming and declaring and writing down and envisioning and all those things that some people will go woo, but that's actually what we're doing to see the results, and how huge that really is, and how it takes, excuse me, it a lot of people think that you have to physically, do something, do this, do that, do this, and you still do, but it focuses your efforts. And it adds that whole law of attraction, to the things that you're doing. And that's how things actually get done, not just with us, but anyone. Any major thing that you see people doing, you know, in the world, they're using the law of attraction. You don't see what's going on behind the scenes. And, hold on, let me let these folks in.
You know what, Rick, while you're letting them in, you know what's so interesting about that when you talk about the 369? You printed out paperwork for me that said 369 manifestation. And I was looking at it the other day because I'm going through the process. And I thought that was funny because even when you were printing it out, you were not really looking at it until you heard it. So, okay, back to you.
I'm trying to find my cursor to let these folks in. And I can't find my cursor. Let's see. There we go. I just kind of hit something. Okay, go. Oh yeah. Okay, so
Got
but
it?
yeah, excuse me. That's how things really get done. Things get done when you write them down. Like we're 2024, and you want to write down and script out 2024 and what you want to see have happen in 2024. When you write it down, it becomes contractual. When you write it down, things happen. And so getting back to the 369, Brenda, yeah, you had me print out a couple of books of paper. I didn't know what you was doing, but you had me print that out, and it was cool. I printed it out and gave you the copies. Oh, there's my cursor. I was wondering what happened. And printed it out, gave you the copies, but I didn't know until you mentioned it a couple of days ago when you said 369. And so I went on YouTube. So guys, if you're listening to me, go on, when you get a chance, go on YouTube and search on 369. And what you're gonna find is it's something that, and we've all heard of Tesla, the guy who invented all kinds of different things, electricity. And but he used to actually use it, and a lot of folks have been using it over historically. And all it is when I looked it up, is writing out something, the power of numbers, 3, 6, 9. Writing an affirmation, writing a statement. I wrote a statement on the Vortex, and saving online travelers $167,000 or more when they book through the Vortex. Now, in that, I earned $100,000, but I wrote it down from a savings perspective. And so I wrote it down 3 times in the morning, 3, 6 times in the afternoon, 6, and then 9 times at night. And repeating that for 33 days. I'm on my 4th day, and that's what I'm doing. And I'll give you the results, 33 days. But what's interesting are the dynamics that begin to happen. Favor. I wrote this one ad for our booking engine, and on Facebook, and it has for Brenda's Travel. She has a travel site, a business site for her travel, BLR Travel. And the ad has over 100 likes. Now, like that's amazing. That's a miracle. But it has over 100 likes. And people have been signing up for the Vortex. We put the same ad on YouTube, TikTok, X, Instagram. And so now I'm writing, the spiritual component to it. 3, 6, 9. And I'm repeating that for 33 days. What do you want? What would you like if you say, "Oh, Rick, I'm going to try that 369." What would you like to see manifest? Rick, that's an eerie word. It's a true word, the law of attraction. What would you like to see manifest? When you begin to understand how things really work, you are manifesting things whether you know it or not. The things in your life right now are a manifestation of what you think, what you say, who you are, what you desire. The things that you see in your life right now are manifestations of your life right now. I was reading this statement the other day, and it says, you don't get what you want, you get who you are. And so what that told me is that I can get what I can become. If I can become it, whatever that thing is, if you can become it, the law of attraction says the situations, the people, everything that you need will begin to show up in your life to support who you've become. That's powerful.
Hey,
Go right
hey
ahead.
Rick,
Yes.
can you say that last part again? You become what you say that again?
You become what you are, not what you want.
I thought about that and I said, why not? Or add to that, become what you want.
Become what you want.
Become what you want. And the manifestation of what you want and who you are will obviously manifest in life, because that's just how it works.
It's true.
Going beyond the natural side, spiritually, that's just how it works. Out of the heart springs the issues of life. So if you become that which you want, then that which you want has to appear, because you are that. It, it just works that way. You know, a
That's
hammer on
amazing.
paper
It's
becomes a
true.
hammer when it's built.
Everything that
So,
we, it's so true, Ed. Everything that we see around us began as an idea.
You know what? I like the word desire too. I mean, you can say
Yes.
want, but I like that. I like desire.
Yes. God satisfies the desires of our heart. If we can become what we desire, become what we want, it's a wrap. Now, I got to tell you, that's all I'm actually doing. And so that's why I don't have to go out to get. I become to get. I don't have to go out. We moved to Charleston. It's irrelevant where I live once we understand what we're talking about. Why is that? Because it finds me. It finds me. I'm attracting it. Like you're saying, Glenn, I'm attracting that desire. That's why if I can work on me, right? If I can but work on me, it's all good. And because I'm attracting everything that I want. The new presentation has come out. It's really good, and we're gonna tape it and may even do it. But if you get a chance, take a look at the new presentation and go through it and think about, you know, giving it yourself. Think about becoming it, even if you never give it. Even if you never give it, just think about it. Think about becoming it. Think about understanding it. Even like I say, if you never even give it, and watch what happens. The people that you're looking for, that are looking for it, find it through you. Find it, through who you desire to be, and just the matter of you knowing what it is. You're setting something in place. Now combine that with 369. People who are looking for opportunity in travel, find me. And writing that down 3 times in the morning, or whatever your statement may be. And it doesn't necessarily have to be the opportunity for booking travel. It could be the opportunity for joining the travel business. People who are looking for a travel business, find me. 3 times in the morning, 3 times in the afternoon, 3 times in the morning, 6 times in the afternoon, 9 times at night. And repeating that for 33 days. And at the same time, going through the presentation and just reading through it. You will be that leader that you're looking for, and people will find you. And whatever it is they're looking or need, it will be implanted in you, so that when they show up, you already know this is what they need. They already know this is what they're looking for. Ladies and gentlemen, that's how the business really works. Okay, compare that to, or maybe even contrast that to, chasing people. There's no assertion, only attraction. Understand that. You can chase people, they'll take off with wings as eagles and fly away. But attracting them through, like you're saying, the desires of your heart, attracting them by becoming what you want or what you desire, that's how the business really works. And that's how you work the business most efficiently. Can you do it the other way? Yes, but at a cost. A cost to your health, cost to your sanity, because people are crazy. What do you want me? Even though it's something they need, they'll be like, oh, oh. But when you attract, when you lay the foundation for attraction, which you're doing, now they're coming to you because they're attracted to it based on where they're at. And the most important thing that I love is that it filters out or filters in the right people, filters out the wrong people. When you're chasing them and you're getting a headache because now they're like, they're chasing me, and whatever you use to get them when you chase them is what you have to keep them. When you attract them, now they're coming. And that's how Brenda and I build the business. And that's why we can be successful in the business. That's why we're $1 million earners in the travel industry. It's not because I'm just this great, great recruiter. Now, me studying, you heard me mention this, taking a look at the presentation to understand the presentation. That's a part of it. When they come, I want you to think about this. When they come to you because of the attraction, they're not robots. They're coming for something. What is it that you have to give them when they show up? You're going to get some people that will show up because they want to travel more. Some people want to make more. Some people want to save more. Some people may want a career opportunity. Some people or organizations may want a fundraising tool. You may have some people that say, hey, Rick, I'm a business. I want to know how to turn my travel expenses into revenue. Some people may want, tax deductions. They're going to want something from you. I would recommend whatever your passion is, become passionate about that and getting more information on that. You don't have to know it all. Focus on your area of passion. And I'm telling you, you could actually narrow this down and attract people to the area that you're passionate about. I mean, you can focus this, and the people that you are targeting to be attracted in the area that you're passionate about, that's who shows up. Isn't that amazing? That this is not just willy-nilly. This is very, very specific.
Hey, Rick.
Go right ahead.
Hey, how important is it with what you're saying is that you have to know what you have. You have to know because a good
It's good.
conversationalist, a good presenter will draw the want out of whoever they're presenting to. You'll hear it, but you got to know how to draw it out, and it's not
Good.
a salesman pitch kind of draw. It's a conversational draw, and you just kind of lead them in the conversation and just help them realize what they're looking for. Because 9 times out of 10, they don't even know.
That's true.
What we have is so new, yet so powerful. It's almost like what some people say too good to be true, but it's not even a convincing that we have to do. It's just the sharing of the information, and the information validates itself.
That's good.
And we've shared conversations, you and I, Rick, about what the travel industry is and where it's going in the next 5 to 10 years. And there's so much opportunity here, but the challenge is educating those who don't even know they're looking, and just presenting an opportunity they might not even be looking for. You don't know what's going to draw them until you cast your net, or you catch your hook, and you put the bait out and you test the bait, and that draws people, and sometimes they'll draw people who aren't even hungry, but they'll find a meal here,
It's true.
and so you just got to know what you have and how to present it.
And
Well,
who? Go
the
ahead,
the,
Glenn.
present, the presentation does that. It's the breadcrumb.
Mm,
But as we know, what you're really doing, depending on who you're talking to, what the position is, even if it's for personal use, all you have to do is listen. They'll tell you what their desires are, what they want, if you listen. But if you do all the talking one way with a hard sell, that's you're missing the point. And we could give you example after example on that. All you have to do is listen to what they're saying, because what they're saying will not change over time. And how bad do they want it? Back to you, Rick.
that's good. And interestingly enough, listen to who you become. Listen to your desire. Listen to the call that you're putting out, because that's who shows up. Be aware of who shows up. Be aware of who filters themselves out, that you're not that person. Because the person who shows up is going to hear you. I said some time ago that if I'm talking to a person and they don't hear me, it's not that person. They're not the one. And I can stop talking right now. Change the subject. They're not the one. You're going to be aware and listen, because you're going to hear the person. You're going to hear what they say. You're going to hear how they respond to you. And if they don't respond, remember, you're interviewing them. They're not interviewing you. You're interviewing them. Are you the one, that I'm looking for? If they're giving you a hard time, they're not the one that you're looking for. They have failed their interview. And it's okay, because you're looking for those who are looking for you. You've heard that before, Glenn, right? Your previous leader. Wake up in the morning looking for those who are looking for me. But it's true. And you have put out the classifications. You have put out the specifics of who you're looking for. You are becoming the person, the leader that you're looking for. So there's a whole thing that's happening, and there's a whole dynamic that's happening. You have become that person. You're becoming that person. You have the characteristics of that person. You have what you're writing down, who you're looking for, and the 3, 6, 9. You're doing all of that. Who am I attracting? So when the people show up, based on what you put out, now you're listening. Is this a fish, on the hook? The Holy Spirit hook, right? Is it someone that's being sent? And you're listening and you're asking questions, knowing, so now you're knowing. This business is about knowing. The efficiency in working the business is about knowing who you are, knowing what you have, like you're saying, Ed. When we talk about the vortex,
Hey, Rick,
go right ahead.
and then you can hit that vortex. I was just looking back through my notes, and I've been journaling. We're on the 21 day. Anyway,
Wow.
I've been journaling on January 11th. That's Coach's birthday. Here's some notes that I took from there once that subject came up. This is what the notes say. Um, there's a difference between a fighter and a leader. And then
Wow.
they're used to who you used to be, not who you have become.
Wow.
And that's right. You nailed it. You nailed it. They're used to who you used to be, not who you have become. Back to you, Rick and Vortex.
Ooh, that's good. That's good stuff, man. That'll preach right there. Amen. Amen. We don't realize how much in control we actually are. You're in control of everything, you know, and of course we're believers, so we understand what I'm saying, you know, ultimate control, but you're in control. You have more control than you give yourself credit for. The power of prayer, the power of desires of your heart. A lot of times we don't realize and understand how powerful that is. The power of faith, the creative nature of faith. We talk about the fourth dimension. The fourth dimension is the dimension of, now listen to this. This is Dr. Cho in his book, The Fourth Dimension. He says it's the fourth dimension, the dimension of faith, that controls the three dimensions, that controls the two dimensions, that controls the single dimension. The fourth dimension controls all of it. And that's the creative nature of what we can do and can have in controlling and creating what it is that we desire. That's why when you say, you know, the vision, Albert Einstein says, your imagination is a preview of life's coming attractions. And writing the script of what you want to see have happen in 2024. People are resistant to writing down what they want. And so they just get willy-nilly, you know, who they are. And the question comes down, who are you? If you're not defining it, somebody else is defining who you are. I mean, if you say, oh man, I'm just going to just kind of float through this year, you're going to be influenced by something, someone, TV, what you read, the people you surround yourself with, you know, something. If you don't take charge, the leadership in this business is taking charge of who we are and what we desire and who we want to become for 2024. That's the leadership in this business. And like you're saying, Glenn, it's not fighting, you know, it's becoming. The people you meet, the question you ask, is this the person that I've been calling forth that's looking for me? How will you know? You can ask them questions. And like you said, Ed, you can have a conversation. What is their response, their attitude in the conversation? Think about it. Are they glad they found me? That's why I love hearing, Glenn, you and Chantel tell your stories about the people that you meet that have been looking for you. You know, people in the community and people in the ministry. And how does Glenn meet a Bishop Robertson? How do they meet all of these high-powered people in the community? How do they do that? They have become and are attracting them into their circle. Now it's a matter of timing and God's timing. When Glenn and Chantel first met Bishop Robertson, Glenn's walking the property before the center is even built. He's walking the property and praying over the ground before the center in Bremerton is even built. They present to the board at that time, the executive leadership at that time, of the Vortex as a fundraiser. Not knowing that a filtering process had to happen, getting those naysayers off the board. And you know, and so when you're looking at this, there's something that's happening in the lives of people that you're talking to as well. Now, this is only known in the spirit. And as the leader, you have to be comfortable writing it out on where people are. Now, you know, with the whole center being built, with the naysayers being moved, now we're coming back to the place where, that the executive leadership is ready to hear about the fundraiser again with the Vortex. How many years has that been? That's been a number of years. There's a timing aspect to the people that will show up in your life. And you know what's so beautiful about that? No kidding, are you here to support and help them? That is the primary thing. How can I serve and support and help you? And if you don't get greedy, if you don't push the spirit and just ride, how can I serve? Whom may I serve? I've got gifts, talents, and skills. Whom may I serve? Who needs this? At the same time, while you're becoming, right? This may get a little complex, yeah, but at the same time, while you're becoming and you're writing down the 369 and you're studying, you're going through the presentation and looking at the presentation, knowing that you're preparing for something that you don't even know what, and then you are moved to Charleston. And
Hey, Rick,
go right ahead.
first of all, to begin the whole thing, you have to show up.
Ooh, excellent.
And that's where it all started. I mean, reaching out, but showing up, uh, developing a relationship. And I could give a Holy Ghost, churchy answer, religious answer to some of he opened the door and all this, but he didn't. You got to show up, and then we couldn't have done that by ourselves. Guess what? We put those presentations together and all that through help through our partners on this line right here. That's how it flows. Teamwork, because we have the people with the knowledge to do whatever with this organization to present to the White House. We have that kind of juice. And so to be plugged in, to get the access, it just began by showing up. And without any of the memories or anything else, none of it happens if you don't show up. Back to you, Rick.
Wow. Deborah 369, Deborah asked the question what 369 is. Brenda, talk about 369. Because I didn't know. Brenda mentioned it to me. I'm like, what's 369? I mean, she didn't say it as 369. She said, Rick, can you print out this book for me? And I'm like, okay, here's a ream of paper. And then on the spiritual call Monday, she mentions 369. I went, 369? Go ahead, Brenda.
Well, what happened was I was, I'm always searching, always looking for something to learn. And everybody's putting out all kind of different things for the new year, what you can do. And that popped up. It just popped up on manifestation. And I know people are back and forth with their beliefs, and I understand everybody's different. And kind of sidetracked, just like with Mel Robbins, she popped up on my YouTube again, and she has a book that I'm going to print out. I don't know why I didn't print out. And it is melrobbins.com New Year. And it's a book, and she talks about what you do each day. I was just searching for things like that. And then the 369 came up, and I was reading it, and I was listening to videos about it. And then I went to go and get it, and I saw that it was these 4 books. And I thought, I don't need 4 books. I want to do it now. I don't want to wait for 10 days for it to get here, blah, 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 right? So then I went and I found where you can download it for free. And that's when you came in and I asked you to print it out. I had no idea it was going to be so massive. And then by the time you get your binders and the printing paper and the ink, you should have just went on and waited 10 days. But, and I think I'm going to still go ahead and actually order it from them. But what I liked about it, it just gave you something to do. I think a lot of times when we put things together on, we're going to do this, but we don't have structure. We don't have something to say, okay, do this now, do this then, do this. And that's one thing I liked about the whole process. It's telling you what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. And so I love those type of learning tools, because now you know what to do, when to do, and how. And it really breaks it all down too. It actually tells you about your goals, what you're manifesting, why you want to manifest it, how you want to manifest it. It just gives you a real good tutorial on what to do. So you're constantly learning. And then, of course, if you have the books, then you're writing it out like Rick said, and you're doing this. And it has different manifestations for everything in our life. So it has finances. It has relationship goals, what they call love. So that's another thing I liked about it, because it touched on everything in our life. And again, we want to do things, but now how do we do it? You know, we ask ourselves, how do you start? Okay, write a journal. How do I do it? You know, so everything that you want to do, I know I like someone showing me rules, structures, how you did it, you know, and then of course you'll see from yourself what the outcome. Now, what I believe, because it does give you a time frame on how and when this is going to happen, but what I believe is that you don't quit until you get what you're writing down. See, I think that's where people mess up at, is because you never know. 33 days might happen, and yours happened on the 36th day, but you gave up 2 days too soon. So see, that's what I believe when I'm doing anything, even when they tell you that it takes 21 days to form a habit. Well, I'm not going to stop until I have the habit, because we're all unique and different individuals. And what something might happen quickly for one person, it might take a little bit longer for you. You might need to get more in detail of what you're asking for. You might, you know, really believe it, see it. I know Les Brown says, if you can't see it, you can't be it, you know. So everybody has all these little things when it comes to, and like we have, you know, Christians, we're all believers, we know to say we're asking God in prayer, and that's great. And then I follow a couple of other speakers, and they do go into your aura, you know, so you got to be careful, because some of them can get really crazy. And then it goes into what you're generating, the energy, what you're putting out into the universe. And all of that, to me, is very important, because it all comes back to what type of person you are, because you tend to attract what you are. And that's just the truth. You tend to attract what you are. And I think when we realize that, and the things that we don't know, you know, I can go into a lot of different things that I've learned in the past. And I had someone who always tend to end up with abusers. And now when they started dating the guy, he was fine. But by the time it was coming to an end, he was not. So you have to ask yourself, or ask this person, what about you causes this to happen? But of course, nobody wants to take the blame and look inward. So a lot of times you have to look inward, because you're attracting that. So why attract negative stuff when you can attract positive stuff? And to me, you do that by being positive. And the more positive energy you give out, the more positive you're going to get. Even if something as simple as a parking space, when you start doing those sayings or those affirmations, every time I go, I find a good parking spot. And parking spots are going to start opening. People are going to start pulling out soon as you pull in. And that has happened to me. And then I slack off, and I forget doing it. And then another thing came to me the other day, and I started writing it down, because for a minute there, Rick and I were always saying we're winners. We would play around with our kids and say, you're a winner, man. You know, it was just something that we would do, and you're a winner. And we were winning left and right. So why did we stop? So it reminded me, okay, I got to start that again. I'm a winner. I win everything. Everything I want, I win. Go ahead. Somebody want to say something?
Brenda, you know,
Yes.
a couple quick things. that the 21 days, we've all heard that it takes 21 days to break a habit. Well, Dr. Caroline Leaf says that's just the start of it, just the process. It's going to be a process. So anybody think in 21 days they're going to break a habit, they better think again. And the other theme that Chantel brought to me, and we both got similar revelations. It's from different sources, but that's how the Holy Spirit flows too. The other portion is you got to study. You have to study. Even the scriptures tell you that, study to show yourself approved, but you have to study. You
Yes.
got to study your business. You
Yes.
got to study. You got to learn. That's how you know. That's how you can keep from getting bamboozled. You know what I mean? You got to do your due
Right.
diligence. You have to study. Back to you, Brenda.
That is so
That
true.
is so true.
I've told you guys about the Kingdom of Kush. The Kingdom of Kush is a movement that's happening in Africa by some major leaders and marketing folks to recreate the African Kingdom of Kush along the lines of what you see for the city-state Dubai and Singapore. And they want to do something similar in Africa. And so I have a gentleman that is in the business who connects to that leadership. And they were looking for a travel business, because they do a lot of travel and different things. And so he has told them about me, and I've had a chance to talk to them. We'll be doing a presentation for their executive board. And he's funny. He's been, ever since Burl Walk, Brenda, he's been in the business. And so he's like, well, Rick, talk about studying, Glenn. He says, I need to reactivate because of this thing that's going on now. He's like, how do I reactivate? What site do I go to? You've been in the business since how long? But I'm always here. Always here. You're going to have people like that. But he's been in the business since probably maybe 2008. But he's never been in the business. Like you're saying, Glenn, he never studied to show himself approved. Now, the great thing about it is that we are here. And as you know, we will always be here to meet a person wherever they're at. But you gotta know, well, I guess I gotta know to move into leadership. You see, and that's why I was saying, when I first came into business, and Mariano's on the line, Mariano was the guy that I respected most in anything, in business, life, all kinds of stuff. Just held in high regard. And because he knows, when I met him in another business, he knew. He came into ITB, he knew. He switched to Surge, he knew. Talk about veterans, he knew. And, I'm a kind of person that likes to know anyway, but combine me with somebody who knows, it's over. Glenn, you're that way. Ed, you're that way. You guys know. And you gotta know. Is that just our military? That's not just our military training, is it?
No, I mean, it is, Rick, it is. Because, that's part of the program. But here's the things that they appreciated very beginning when I heard the presentation. And as I got to, like you said, as we got to learn it and understand it. Company doesn't care how high you go, low you stay.
Mm.
Just want you to be wherever you want to be. They will embrace you to the end. And that's the thing that I appreciate, because not everybody's got the ambition to make it to the top.
True.
Or whatever you want to define the top to be, right? Not everybody's got the resources, not everybody's got the skills, not everybody's got desire, but that's okay. What I think people need to really understand about this company, they just want to be there for you to do whatever you want to do however hard you want to do it. And if they're okay with it. Again, if you want to run, and just like the new program with the $100,000 or whatever, I mean, you know, nuts. There's people that can do that. So it's amazing that, again, they've given us that opportunity to give those folks that are out there that are really, really hungry now achieve that. And I just kind of want to chime in and say to people that don't lose sight of the fact that the company is there for you however you want to do it, you know, and there's so many options. So like you were saying earlier, passion, whatever the heck it is, and like Glenn is saying, earn it, show up, and go from there.
That's so true. What is your expectation, right? You know, what is your expectation? It's interesting when you talk to someone who has unrealistic expectations that don't match their work ethic or a desire to get to get whatever that is. I like what you said, Brenda. If you can't see it, you can't be it. In the business, and for 2024, that's why it's so important to write down the script of what you want, because that really translates to your expectations. And so that's the beginning point, is to write down your expectations, what you expect. What do you want? That doesn't have to be, you know, like Mariano's saying, you don't have to, you know, say I'm going to get that $100,000 or I'm going to be a director level 8. But what are your expectations? It may be something on the travel side. I may want to have however many travel contracts. You know what's interesting? I don't think Ron is on this call, but Ron and Linda Clayton, they're snowed in Buffalo, by the way. Keep them in your prayers. He's getting people calling him to go on cruises, to go on trips. They're booking trips. He says, Rick, I don't understand how people can't find folks who want to go different places. He said, they're calling me. You know, I'm not even advertising now, but he has become the greatest advertisement you can do is to become what you seek. And in that woo realm, it goes out. And the people that are here to help you will show up. I was reading this one quote, and it was saying how if a person takes the initiative to become successful, and I'm going to add in their area of expectation, people will show up to help you to become successful in your area of expectation. That's amazing.
Well, you know what, Rick? Now that we're talking here, the 21 days is the beginning of becoming.
Ooh. Wow. You know, that's heavy duty. That's how this works. That's why when you used to hear me say, I don't have to go out to work my business. All I got to do is become and prepare for the people that I'm seeking. And initially, I was resistant to that. I don't want to study that. I don't want to study. I don't want to look at nothing. But then when I said, okay, they're going to expect something of me, right? They're not just showing up because they're great people, even though they may be great people. There's an exchange that's going to happen. You may say, okay, here's travel knowledge. Here's fundraising knowledge. Here's, destination knowledge. Here's tax deduction knowledge. You choose. You can't look at somebody else and say, man, I gotta learn that. No. What's easy for you to learn? That's in line with your thing, your passion, your purpose. when you start finding your purpose, when you start discovering what comes easy to you, it's always been easy to you. Other people say, well, they're really a great talker. They're really a great da-da-da-da listener. They're really great in da-da-da understanding. That gets back to the gift that you possess. And what comes easy to you, it always has. Mine is communication. I've always been a communicator. I've always been able to take the complex and make it simple. I've always been able to connect people through conversation. Oh, Glenn, that comes back to that. What, 3 types of people? The connector, the maven, the salesperson.
Malcolm Gladwell.
And everybody else is also ran. Are you a connector? Do you like to connect people? Are you a maven? Lou is a maven. Do you get information? Are you that salesperson? And Joe Massolino added a builder to it. He added a 4th thing. He says, Rick, there's also the builder. They know they're builders. Now, for us, we can study to show ourselves approved so that when we come across a connector, we come across a maven, we come across a salesperson, we come across a builder, we can give them something that they're looking for. Or like you were saying, Glenn, we can connect them to people who know. But you got to have something for that initial interaction and to give them. And that can be in your line of passion. What is your passion? See, people don't know that this is all about you knowing who you are and being able to walk confidently in your own skin. Knowing whose you are, who you are, why you are, right? When you got that, and then writing down the vision and scripting out what you want for this year, 2024, you don't have to leave your house. Lou, what's his name? The pastor. He said for the 4th dimension show, he said, 4th dimension of faith. He says, he wanted to build the largest church in Korea. And he said, I don't have to leave my house to do that. He said, if I was a missionary, I don't even have to go on the mission field. He said, the power of the Spirit is dreams and visions. He said, I can call them forth and they will show up. I don't even have to leave. He said, there's no way he wanted a 10,000 person church. He said, there is no way I could knock on 10,000 doors. So I employ the power of faith, right? I define clearly what I want. And I pray it every day. I write it down. And I pray it every day. And the circumstances, the people, the situations will all align to manifest whatever it is. Now, of course, people go, ooh, because it operates in that spiritual realm. But the spiritual realm, believe it or not, is where everything happens. That happens. Everything that you see around you has already happened in the spiritual realm and then manifested in the natural. When you begin to understand those dynamics, it makes you go, I got a chance. Anybody else? And I like how you said that, Brenda. You attract what you are. And Glenn, you're saying it. If you can but become, go right ahead.
That's true. Did somebody else? Yeah, that is so true, Rick. It's all about what your belief level is. And see, this is not something new. We've heard this all our lives. But if we go back and we look and things are not exactly, well, I believe for this and I believe for that, when did you give up on it?
Mm.
And, because that's what we really have to ask ourselves. Because I like Caroline Leaf. I follow her. I listen to her. I think she's awesome. And definitely 21 days, everybody's different. I think we're all as different as our fingerprints. And until things manifest the way you want, I would never give up. Even if I forget, slide away and come back, I'm coming right back. Because if it happened for the other person, it can happen for me. But that's what happens with us. We start something, we'll give up. If someone says to us, it's going to take 21 days to form a habit, we'll go 21 days and go, see, it didn't work. Somebody will say, because, and think about that. Even with that attitude of the 21 days, it did, and to say that on the 21st day, well, okay, hold up. That was your attitude through the whole process. So that's another reason why it didn't work. So I think once we sit back and examine all these things, we'll begin to see better outcomes.
That's so true, Brenda. Nobody could ever tell me the business doesn't work. Well, why is that? Because I'm testing it out. I want to see if I can make more. If I do this, can I get paid that? Glenn, I love how you and Chantel say you've gotten a commission check, whether residual income or something, ever since you've been in the business. But if I do this, can I get paid that? If I travel, can I travel host on Ed? I love your travel stories with your family. What? If I do the vortex, can I save money? Can I take a class? And Darlene, I just love your stories about the classes you take for travel as a career opportunity in hospitality and tourism. Does it really work? Are there really classes out there? Do I actually get a certificate? Do I get a Benny by partnering with these vendors? Can I raise money? Study to show yourself approved. That is so good. 2 Timothy
Do
2:15.
I get a free cruise?
Will I get a free cruise? Anywhere they cruise, Princess Cruises. Brenda takes the training. We get a free cruise, 15-day Western Europe cruise, and leave out of Fort Lauderdale, Azores, Portugal, Spain, Paris, London,
Hey,
Stonehenge.
Rick.
Go right ahead.
Hey, the beautiful thing about what you just said, everybody on this call can answer each question with a yes. That's a beautiful thing. There's no one on this call that's going to say, I never did that, or I can't do that. There's either I've done it, I'm doing it again, or it's already on the books, or I'm doing it for the first time. That's the experience you get in this business. There's no one that's going to say, no, you can't do it. It's an open door to the world. Go see it.
For real. You know what? Chantel is still in the witness protection program this week.
That's
But
fine.
I'm just going to say kudos to her. Congratulations. She completed her upgrade on the Princess because we got that cruise still to take. She completed that course, became a Commodore with Princess.
Wow.
And I think you have to do the refresher annually, but she just completed that. So guess
Uh-oh.
what? We still have that cruise on the books. I think I want to do that Footsteps of Paul or something Mediterranean. We'll see. But I don't know about the transatlantic thing, Rick. I don't know if I'm ready for that yet.
I can tell you are. I can tell you that you are ready. And here's why. The most awesome part of that transatlantic crossing, well, other than you have to find your way back. That was a shocker to us. We found the 15-day, yeah, book it. Brenda, this doesn't come back to the States. But the reason why it was 8 days to cross the Atlantic. And normally, you know, on a cruise, you're jumping around because it's going from port to port. You got to get off. You got to do this. You got to do that. But imagine being able to just chill for the 8 days and just relax, and knowing that you're crossing the Atlantic, and that you're not, you know, just jumping from port to port to port, but you're taking dance lessons. You're doing this, you know. They had the disco. Brenda and I, we started off, we're not going to talk to anybody. And, you know, we're just going to just keep it close hold and just us. And then she meets this person and they say, hey, you know, we're all going up to the disco and at 12 o'clock at night. And so we find ourselves up in the disco having a fantastic time. Oh, by the way, they've got the sandwich shop that and the pastry shop that gives you everything free after 12. So we find ourselves after disco going down with the group to the sandwich shop and getting all the carrot cakes and all the panini breads and all the food's free. And normally they're charging during the day. And we find ourselves caught up. We find ourselves in a lifestyle of just luxury and joy and leisure and just enjoying ourselves. And because it's a transatlantic crossing, there's only 1,500 people on the whole ship. And so it's like we had the ship to ourselves. And in one of the mornings, we went out and we was in the jacuzzi on the front of the ship. And there was nobody in sight anywhere, just Brenda and I in this huge jacuzzi. And we're looking out as the ship is just, you know, plowing the water and the blue horizon, blue sky, and it's just us in this jacuzzi. And the whole front of the ship, we're not even seeing anybody. Or maybe it was the back of the ship, I don't know. There's nobody. No, it's the front of the ship. And there was nobody because it was way up high. And we couldn't see anybody. And it was just us as it's cutting this water. And we're looking at each other and taking pictures and said, this is the coolest ever. You know, this is our ship. And so Glenn, you know, we went over and it ended up at Ramstein and took a commercial flight coming back. And I was like, wow. But it does take that extra, you know, okay, what am I going to do? How am I going to get home? But a transatlantic crossing, I wouldn't turn it down for nothing.
Hey, Rick.
Even though it surprised us that we had to find a way home. Go right ahead, Ed.
Hey, how awesome and inviting that transatlantic cruise is, and the cruises, other Norwegian cruises that are available. I just did some Norwegian training, and they're coming out with a class ship that has a townhome as a cabin. You get 2-story, 3-bedroom townhome as a cabin. I say, what?
Wow.
We're taking everybody. Let's go. So,
we'll be with you on
get
that.
on your training. If you're going to do a transatlantic cruise or any cruise, and you got a bundle of people coming, or you want to get a group, that's the way. Norwegian. Check it out.
There were no teenagers. 1,500 people. The ship actually held about, what, 5,000? There was only 1,500, and there were no teenagers on the cruise. No kids, no teenagers. It was just open. It was just, I mean, just luxury, leisure.
Hey, Rick,
Huh?
as one former president, I think most of us on this call will know who I am referring to. As one former president once said, now let me make this perfectly clear. The reason I talked about the transatlantic trip that I was contemplating was not fear, was not one of the options, okay? Don't be scared to go out there and have that experience that Rick is talking about. Go ahead, Rick.
Oh, man. Now, would I do it again? Yeah, I'd do it again. Brenda, would you do it again?
Yes, and to make a long story short, there were a couple of kids on the ship. We just did not have to see them because we stayed at the adult pool.
Oh, 2 teenagers?
No, they were, I don't know, they were little. They weren't teenagers. But anyway, it was, and also to wrap it up, we met Tracy and signed her up on the ship. So even though it was a free cruise, we still worked it as a business and signed somebody up while we were there.
But we
So
don't
it's
go.
all about yeah.
No, I was going to say we don't go out to work the business. We just work it while we're out. Go ahead,
Yeah.
babe.
It was anybody else. You know me, I'm just looking at the time because I want everybody to come back next week.
Yeah, that's true.
I want everybody to come back next week. So I'm just saying that send it to the time. Anybody else want to share?
I was just back on the cruise.
Yeah.
So anyway, Glenn, yes,
Okay.
even if you just got to
We
jump
did
on
it.
Seattle and go up to Alaska, that
Oh
works.
man, yeah. That's a nice cruise. Or even over to Hawaii, that's a nice cruise. But this is what we do. We have fun and we travel. And everybody, make sure you use your 7-day night stay. We're trying to find different places here where we could use ours because they're all over the place. And if it's not something available now, give it a week or so because all these places keep popping up
Hey, Brenda,
for 7-day night stay. Yes.
Ron mentioned something on the call that we do. He and Linda are doing a special event for Valentine's Day, and he's going to give one of his stays away, auction it off, or give it away to
Oh,
some lucky winner for the
nice.
doing a drawing on Valentine's Day. So you can actually gift it to someone. If you can't use it, you could actually gift it. It may be a church function, you know, but for whatever you can let somebody use it as a gift, you know, that they can auction off or give away. If you can't use it, or if you got like 6 backed up, the fact that you can actually give that away, that's amazing to me. Back to you, Brent.
Yeah, because you also want to be mindful of when you order it from the company, and Sandy will let you know how many you have available. They mail it out on the 1st and the 15th of each month. Once you receive it, look at the expiration date because I think we've already used these, so there's no issue. But I think when we first got them, the expiration date was 2025. And of course, that was pretty far away, so we didn't care. So pay attention. If you've had one, if you've ordered one from the company and you've been kind of sitting on it, pay attention to that expiration date because that's another thing. You don't want to lose it. So anybody else?
Darlene says she has given a couple away as a gift. That's awesome.
And that's another
It
thing
is.
to be to make the person that you gift it to, make them aware of, because I think it's a year you have to use it, I think.
Yeah, I think it's like a year or something. But you
Yeah.
should do it for the church. Do a giving thing for the church, Darlene.
Well, I got a couple of things going on for the gift, but right now we got so much going on at my church. It's just hard to fit anything in right now. So
Oh, okay. Oh,
and I'm working on the retirement for my pastor, and I just finished making the reserving the Murano downtown for the gala and the room for the speaker coming from Shreveport, Louisiana.
wow.
And, you know, it's just so much going on right now. I'm going to put the ladies on background until this summertime.
Oh, that's so awesome. Wow.
Yeah.
Proud of you. That's what I said. Bad to the bone. Back to you.
Wow, that's awesome. I love to see movement in our company and definitely with our business partners, no matter what's going on. Even Chris down there in Puerto Rico, I don't know if you guys seen his post on Facebook, but he said they started their little pre-launch and they've already gotten 30 people and it's booming.
Nice.
So there's people out there. Everybody out here, they're looking for something. I don't know if you guys paid attention, but different software programmers and developers are all getting laid off because people are they're realizing that the AI can do a lot of the work that they're doing.
Oh man, wow.
So people are always looking for something. You just have to be there and draw them in, and make sure when you write that down, you're looking for someone who's looking. And it's easier to find a job when
That's
you
good.
have one.
Event planner.
So when someone's employed, coming into the business is no big deal for them because it's like, oh, okay, I can do this on the side, you know. And of course, somebody who's desperate and I need money yesterday, it can work for them too. But it's always a lot more fun working with someone who's kind of set, chill, just want to do it and that's another energy that puts off, and people can feel that desperation. So go for what you know, and we all
Brenda,
know a lot. Yes.
I was just going to say, someone had put in here, oh, Glenn, that we have the tools to be event planners. And scootaround.com is a real good. Oh, that's right. Darlene has actually used scootaround.com. And Darlene, is there anything you haven't done?
Well, I try to keep up.
Oh my Lord, that's awesome. But if you want to be an event planner, like Glenn is saying, there are so many tools that we have. And if not everybody can be an event planner, that's not a desire. Ron Clayton and Linda Clayton are event planners. But if that's your thing, research the tools that are available. I mean, you have access to everything. Back to you, Brent.
Hello. Let me
Well,
say before we jump off of here that I spoke with Ambassador Nick Nicholson up in Kirkland, and we are going to be meeting and getting together. If you've been up to Kirkland, you know it's beautiful with that view across the sound of downtown Seattle. But we're working on a meeting to get together with him, whoever wants to go, and we're going to connect with him. And he's even talking about, what do we want to do if we want to start having, we can start having a local meeting, and
What?
or whatever we wish to do. We got an ambassador out here, and
Wow.
so it's time for us to show up, to go up. So we'll put that information out there, and see what works for everyone. He's flexible on his schedule for whenever we can pull our team together. And
Wow.
here we go. Here we go. So
That's
stay tuned.
awesome. What? 2024. Nice. Love it, Glenn. And
That would be great, Glenn, because since Reverend Pitts used to keep us all together, we really haven't gotten together like that. So that would be something to do.
Okay, we'll be in touch. We are going to do this.
that was funny, Glenn. Just on a funny note, how Reverend Pitts would be in every picture. You didn't even know he was in there.
Amazing.
There's Reverend Pitts right there.
Amazing.
Every picture.
Amazing. Amen to that.
Bless you, Father. Lord rest. Okay, Brenda wants me to wrap up. Okay, so Brenda. Okay. Thank you guys for joining us. Brenda just peeped in and said, "Wrap it up," and so I'm going to wrap it up. So good to have you join us. Do what you do, and we'll see you next week. God bless everybody. You know we are. What does she say? Anybody? What does Brenda say? The most trusted travel agent.
Travel agent.
In Surge 365.
Amen.
Amen. God bless everybody.